Hello there. I'm Windermere Real Estate's Chief Economist, Matthew Gardner, and welcome to this month's episode of Mondays with Matthew. Today we're going to take a look at home prices and housing affordability. And to do this, I'll be looking at the second quarter sales price data from ATTOM Data Solutions, and we'll also be looking at the latest release from the National Association of Home Builders Housing Opportunity Index for the second quarter. Starting with the year-over-year change in sale prices at the state level, well, there aren't any great surprises. For the past several months, I've been saying that as the Western United States saw the greatest price growth during the pandemic, it's not surprising to see most state sale prices in the quarter below the levels seen a year ago. But it was pleasing to see that sale prices in 36 states either matched the levels seen a year ago or were higher, and in some instances, quite significantly so. And when we compare last quarter sale prices to their 2022 peaks, 33 states are at or above the highs seen last year. But most of the western states, well, they've yet to fully recover. Additionally, in the South, Louisiana is still lagging by a good amount, as is New York State on the East Coast. But as you are all more than aware, all markets are different. And I thought it would be interesting to dig a little deeper into the data and see which metro areas have seen significant gains over the past 12 months. This can be interesting specifically because of the fact that mortgage rates have risen so much. Now, these are markets where sale prices are far above their 2022 peaks. Now, I must add that I only looked at markets where more than 1,000 transactions occurred in the last quarter, which takes out some of the volatility. Notably, even though the state of Virginia home prices in the quarter were flat when compared to their peak last year, well, the Roanoke market was up by over 9%. And in Pennsylvania, where state prices were only 1.2% above last year's peak, Reading is up by 7.6% and York by 7.4%. Over in Georgia, state sale prices were up a modest 1.6%. But homes in Macon have leapt by over 13% and prices are up by 6.9% in Savannah. But on the other end of the spectrum, there are markets which are underperforming their respective states, and unsurprisingly, California tops the list, with 3 of their metros seeing prices significantly below that of the state as a whole. In other parts of the country, several metro areas which were relatively affordable before the pandemic, well, they saw an influx of remote workers, and this led prices to skyrocket. And these are markets that will take somewhat longer to recover. This is particularly true in the Austin, Texas and Boise, Idaho market areas. Now, I would add that of the counties across the country where there were more than 1,000 transactions in the second quarter, more than half have met or exceeded their prior peaks. And of the half where sale prices were still lower, the average shortfall is only around 4%. Additionally, there are just 7 counties in the country where sale prices are down by more than 10% from their 2022 peak. Now, what I see in the data is that the US housing market, although certainly not fully healed, is still headed in the right direction, even when faced with mortgage rates that remain remarkably high. So, with sale prices recovering and still faced with stubbornly high financing costs, what does housing affordability look like? Well, according to the National Association of Home Builders, of the 241 metro areas that they track, just 40.5% of sales in the second quarter were affordable to households making the area's median income. Now, that's the second lowest share of sales seen since they started generating this data set a decade ago. I would add their data does go back to 2004, but the interest rate series that they used to use was discontinued, so it's not accurate to compare their data today with anything before 2012. Now, these were the most affordable markets in the second quarter, and their locations should not be of any great surprise. Average sale prices in these markets was measured at around $203,000. Now, that's just marginally above 50% of the national sale price in the quarter, which was $402,600. And unfortunately, this should not surprise you either. On the other end of the spectrum, the top 10 least affordable housing markets were all in California, but it gets worse. The top 15 least affordable markets, again, all in California, and 19 out of the top 25 were in the Golden State. As far as I can see, the ownership housing market is still showing remarkable resiliency, especially given that mortgage rates have more than doubled from their lows, and they've risen from 4.8% at the start of the second quarter of last year to 7% at the end of the second quarter of 2023. Now, I still expect to see mortgage rates start to slowly move lower as we go through the second half of this year, and that will help with sale prices and, to a degree, affordability. But until we see a significant increase in the number of homes listed for sale, the market is going to remain unbalanced. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject, so feel free to leave your comments below. Until next month, stay safe out there, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye now.